After studying about Mendelian disorders, the second type of genetic disorder are the inborn errors of metabolism. Now, certain metabolic reactions are defective, and such type of errors within metabolism occurs mainly due to the recessive gene. These disorders includes various like phenylketonuria, then alkaptonuria, and albinism. So let us first of all begin with the first, that is phenylketonuria. Phenylketonuria. It can be described as the inborn error of metabolism that acts as a recessive character that are caused by recessive genes. That is, we can say defect in the recessive genes. Here in phenylketonuria, these recessive genes are represented by small p. Now, how does this disorder occurs? When these recessive genes are present, that is, when PP recessive gene is present, then the enzyme named phenylalanine hydroxylase is not produced. And this enzyme is really very important for the conversion of phenylalanine into tyrosine. So, in the absence of this enzyme, the phenylalanine does not get converted into tyrosine. And so, as a result, the phenylalanine along with its derivatives gets accumulated in the blood and CSF. That is, since the conversion of phenylalanine into tyrosine does not occur, then phenylalanine gets deposited or accumulated in blood and CSF. CSF, that is cerebrospinal fluid. And therefore, due to this excess of phenylalanine, this type of disorder, that is phenylketonuria, occurs within an individual. Since this phenylalanine gets accumulated in the blood, the excess of phenylalanine is excreted in the urine. Then comes the second type of disorder, alkaptonuria. This disorder is also of the same type as of the phenylketonuria, except the enzyme that is responsible for the conversion of another pigment gets changed. Phenylketonuria can also be described as the inborn error of metabolism that acts as a recessive character that is caused by recessive genes. These recessive genes, in case of alkyltunuria, are represented by a. Therefore, presence of these genes, that is when AA is present, at that time the enzyme named homogenistic acid oxidase is not produced. And this enzyme, that is homogenistic acid oxidase, is very important for the conversion of acidoacetic acid into homogenistic acid. That is, the homogenistic acid cannot be converted into the acidoacetic acid. And therefore, lack of this enzyme cannot convert the homogenistic acid into acidoacetic acid. And therefore, in this manner, the homogenistic acid gets accumulated within the blood. And as a result of this, the urine of such persons through which the homogenistic acid is liberated turns black when exposed to air. Therefore, the accumulation of homogenistic acid within blood is excreted out through urine as a result of which it turns black when exposed to air. Following the two, the third type of inborn error of metabolism is albinism. Albinism is considered as a hereditary effect where the melanin pigments are absent from the skin. Thus, as we all know that melanin pigment that is present within the skin, then it protects the outer body layer from the harmful UV radiations that comes from the sun. Therefore, this melanin pigment along with skin is also present in hair, eye and many others. So, this presence of melanin pigment within the individual is very essential. But in this type of hereditary defect, this melanin pigment becomes absent. Thus, albinism is an inborn error of metabolism that is caused by recessive genes that is represented by CC. So, in presence of these genes, that is when these recessive genes that are responsible for albinism are present, at that time the tyrosinase enzyme cannot be produced. And this tyrosinase enzyme is very important for the conversion of tyrosine into melanin pigment. And since tyrosinase enzyme is not produced, then the conversion of tyrosine into melanin is not possible. So, these recessive genes whose presence causes lack of production of tyrosinase, and as a result the melanin pigment does not get developed. This leads to the pigmentation of the skin. Since the outer skin of the individual is not protected from the harmful UV radiations present within the atmosphere.